to evoke the romantic allure of the Crusades, often focusing on knights, intrigue, and heroism. 2. Film and television. Kingdom of Heaven, 2005, directed by Ridley Scott. This film presented a nuanced view of the Crusades, emphasizing the brutality and moral ambiguity of the conflict. However, its portrayal of historical figures like Saladin and Baldwin IV was heavily fictionalized. Robin Hood legends. The connection between the Crusades and Robin Hood, a legendary English outlaw, often romanticized the idea of returning Crusaders and their role in English folklore. These cultural depictions have shaped public perceptions of the Crusades, often perpetuating myths while glossing over historical complexities. Chapter 5: The Crusades and Modern Political Rhetoric. The Crusades have been appropriated by modern political movements, serving as both a rallying cry and a cautionary tale. 1. The Crusades in Western political discourse. Religious rhetoric. Some Christian groups in the West have invoked the Crusades as a symbol of religious zeal and the defense of Christianity. This rhetoric gained prominence after the 9/11 attacks, with leaders like George W. Bush controversially referring to the war on terror as a crusade. Far-right appropriation. Far-right groups in Europe and North America have co-opted Crusader imagery to promote anti-Muslim agendas. Symbols like the Cross of Jerusalem and slogans like Deus Vult, God wills it, have been used to frame their actions as a continuation of the Crusader legacy. 2. The Crusades in Middle Eastern discourse. Anti-Western sentiment. In the Middle East, the Crusades are often invoked to critique Western foreign policy. The memory of the Crusades is used to frame interventions in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria as part of a long history of Western interference. Nationalist and religious rhetoric. Leaders and movements have drawn on the legacy of figures like Saladin to inspire resistance and unity. The recapture of Jerusalem by Saladin is frequently celebrated as a symbol of Muslim resilience. Chapter 6: Deconstructing the myths. Scholars have worked to challenge the myths surrounding the Crusades, emphasizing their complexity and historical context. 1. The myth of religious. Chapter 7: The Crusades as a globalized historical myth. In the modern era of globalization, the Crusades have transcended their historical context to become a powerful and polarizing symbol in global discourse. As societies worldwide grapple with issues of religion, identity, and conflict, the Crusades have been appropriated, debated, and mythologized on an international scale. 1. The Crusades in education and academia. The way the Crusades are taught and studied varies significantly across cultures, reflecting broader societal attitudes toward history, religion, and imperialism. Western curricula. In Europe and North America, the Crusades are often framed as a chapter in medieval history, with an emphasis on chivalry, religious fervor, and cultural exchange. However, critical perspectives highlighting the violence and exploitation of the Crusades are increasingly included. Middle Eastern education. In the Islamic world, the Crusades are presented as a period of foreign invasion and resistance. Emphasis is placed on the heroism of figures like Saladin and the resilience of Islamic societies in the face of aggression. Global academia. Scholars have worked to deconstruct nationalistic and Eurocentric interpretations of the Crusades. Works by historians such as Amin Maalouf, The Crusades Through Arab Eyes, and Jonathan Riley Smith have provided nuanced accounts, focusing on the interplay of culture, politics, and religion. 2. The Crusades and global conflict. The symbolic power of the Crusades has found resonance in contemporary global conflicts, often serving as a rhetorical tool for both justification and resistance. The clash of civilizations narrative. The idea of the Crusades as a historical precursor to a modern clash of civilizations gained traction after Samuel Huntington's 1996 book. This perspective frames the Crusades as the beginning of a long-standing conflict between Western and Islamic civilizations, though this oversimplification has been widely criticized. Rhetoric of resistance. Islamist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS frequently refer to Western military interventions in the Middle East as Crusader invasions, invoking the memory of the Crusades to rally support and frame their actions as defensive jihad. Military and political symbolism. The use of Crusader imagery by far-right groups and certain Western politicians has further entrenched the perception of a historical continuum between medieval and modern conflicts. This has, in turn, amplified the narrative of the Crusades as an ongoing struggle. 3. The Crusades and modern identity politics. The myths of the Crusades have become deeply intertwined with identity politics, influencing how communities define themselves and others. Christian identity. In some Christian communities, the Crusades are seen as a period of spiritual triumph and moral clarity. Symbols such as the Cross of Jerusalem have been repurposed in modern movements advocating for the preservation of Christian values and heritage. Islamic identity. For many Muslims, the Crusades are a reminder of historical resistance and the importance of unity. Figures like Saladin are celebrated as models of leadership and resilience, inspiring contemporary movements for solidarity and reform. Secular critiques. Secular voices often use the Crusades as an example of the dangers of religious extremism, framing them as cautionary tales about the intersection of religion and power. Chapter 8: The Crusades in Popular Media. The enduring myths of the Crusades have been amplified by modern media, which often distills their complexity into simplified narratives of good versus evil. 1. Film and television.